There was a man who never tasted death. The sky opened above him, angels carried him through fire and paradise. And what he saw was so terrifying, even heaven tried to silence it. Before the flood, one man saw the heavens open. In the ancient days, when the earth was still young and judgment had not yet fallen, there lived a man unlike any other. His name was Enoch. He was righteous when the world was corrupt. He walked with God when others walked in darkness. He was not a king, not a warrior, not a prophet shouting in the streets. He was something rarer. A man chosen by the Most High himself. Enoch was granted 365 years upon the earth. But his years were not wasted. He was a builder, a keeper of wisdom, a seeker of truth. And God looked upon him with favor. Then the unthinkable happened. The Lord did not wait for death to claim him. Instead, heaven itself reached down to lift him into realms unseen by mortal eyes. Realms of fire and song and judgment. Realms where angels guard the secrets of creation. And it all began on a night like any other, when Enoch lay resting on his bed. And on that night 2 beings of fire appeared at his bedside. Their faces shone brighter than the sun. Enoch awoke, his heart pounding. The room was no longer dark. 2 figures stood at the head of his bed, towering, radiant, terrible in beauty. Their eyes blazed like burning lamps. From their lips came sparks of fire. Their robes shimmered purple and gold, wings brighter than molten light. Never had human eyes seen such beings. Fear gripped Enoch. His face changed with terror. But the beings spoke gently. Do not fear, Enoch. The eternal God has sent us. This night, you will ascend with us into the heavens. Enoch trembled. Why me, a mortal man? The angels gave no answer, only the command. Gather your sons. Speak to them. Warn them. For once you leave, no one must seek you, until the Lord returns you to them. Obedient, Enoch rose. He summoned Methuselah, Regem, and Gad. His voice broke as he told them, hold fast to the Lord. Do not worship lifeless idols. Walk in righteousness, for my path leads away from you now. His sons wept, but Enoch's eyes lifted to the messengers. Their wings unfolded like blazing storms. The air shook with power. And then, lifted on wings of light, he rose into the skies. The journey began, on clouds higher than mountains. The angels carried Enoch upward. The earth fell away beneath his feet, mountains shrinking, rivers vanishing into mist. The wind roared past him like thunder, until he was set down upon the clouds of the first heaven. There, he saw a sea greater than any ocean on earth. Its waves shimmered with colors unknown, rolling endlessly across the sky. The angels spoke. These are the waters above the world, the storehouse of life. And Enoch looked closer. He saw angels moving like flames of silver, guardians of nature's treasures. They unlocked vast chambers of snow, releasing it upon the earth below. He watched them command the clouds, guiding rain and dew as if each drop were weighed in heaven's balance. There were keepers of the winds, watchers of the stars, rulers of the heavens who circled the world with wings of light. Enoch trembled at their power, for all creation obeyed their command. Yet even here in this sea of wonder his journey had only begun. The angels turned their faces upward, toward realms higher still. And Enoch felt it, a chill in the air. For beyond the light of the stars, lay a darkness no man could endure. Chains clashed in the shadows. The light of the first heaven faded. Enoch was lifted higher. But instead of glory, he entered darkness. It was thicker than any night on earth. The air was cold, heavy, suffocating. And there, he heard it. The sound of chains, dragging across stone. Shapes emerged in the gloom. They were angels, yet not like those of light. Their wings were torn. Their faces twisted in sorrow. Their eyes burned with endless grief. Enoch saw them hanging in the abyss, bound by chains that glowed with fire. Their cries filled the heavens. Unceasing. Hopeless. One looked upon him and wept. Man of God, pray for us. Intercede before the Most High. We were deceived by pride, led by our prince, now condemned to judgment. Enoch's heart ached, but he bowed his head. I am but a mortal. Who am I, to plead for angels? I do not even know what awaits me. The prisoners wailed louder, their voices echoing through the endless night. The angels who carried him spoke softly. This is the fate of the apostates, those who turned from God. And then, the darkness parted. A light shimmered above, pulling him higher. And still, higher above, another world awaited, a paradise beyond death. Sweet fragrance filled the air. From the gloom of chains, Enoch was lifted again. Darkness broke apart, and suddenly he stood in light so pure it stung his eyes. He had entered the third heaven. Here the air was alive with music, soft voices that never ceased, songs sweeter than any heard on earth. And the scent, it was as if every flower, every spice, every fruit released its fragrance at once. Before him stood a garden. Its trees glowed with colors unknown. Its branches heavy with fruits shining like jewels. In the very center towered the tree of life, its roots stretching to the ends of the earth, its crown burning with gold, scarlet, and fire. 4 rivers flowed from beneath it. One poured honey, another milk, a third oil, and the last wine as red as dawn. They circled the garden quietly, then flowed out to the ends of the world. Behold, the angels said, this place is prepared for the righteous. For those who feed the hungry, clothe the naked, lift the fallen, and walk without blame before the Lord. Enoch's heart was filled with awe. But then the angels turned his gaze northward. And there, beyond the paradise of light, he saw the place of eternal fire. Flames rose higher than mountains. Enoch turned from the garden of light. The angels raised their hands. And the fragrance of paradise vanished into smoke. Before him stretched a land of horror. Shadows swallowed the sky. Mountains of fire roared upward, their peaks hidden in black clouds. But between the flames lay ice, vast plains of frost cracking under the weight of the condemned. The sound struck him first. 1,000 voices crying at once. Chains clashing. Screams tearing through the darkness. Enoch saw souls bound in fire, faces contorted in agony. Some were dragged through rivers of flame. Others shivered, frozen in prisons of ice, their lips blue with despair. The air reeked of smoke, blood, and hopelessness. The angels spoke. This place is for the wicked, for those who defiled innocence, for liars and thieves, for murderers and mockers of the poor, for idol worshippers who bowed to lifeless gods, for those who turned away from the hungry and clothed themselves while others froze. This is the reward of all who despise the Creator. Enoch trembled. Paradise was gone. Only judgment remained. He covered his face yet could not look away. The angels took him by the arms, their wings blazing through the smoke. And they whispered. And yet the journey was only beginning, for above waited the secrets of the sun and moon. Wheels of fire turned without rest. The smoke of judgment fell away, and once more Enoch was carried upward. He entered the 4th heaven. And there before his eyes blazed a wonder he could scarcely endure. The sun. Its face burned like molten metal. Its path carved across the heavens on wheels of fire, spinning without rest. Angels by the tens of thousands surrounded it, their wings like blades of lightning. Some carried torches that fed its flame. Others guarded its crown of light, ensuring its brilliance never dimmed. Beside it moved the moon, pale yet powerful, guided by its own host of guardians. Together they turned in perfect rhythm, measuring seasons, days, and years. And not only angels, but creatures unlike any Enoch had ever seen. Phoenixes with wings of rainbow fire. Beings with the body of a lion, the tail of a serpent, the head of a crocodile, singing as they circled the burning star. Their voices shook the heavens, crying out in praise. The giver of light has risen. The earth below awakened at their song, birds spreading their wings, rivers glimmering with dawn. Enoch shielded his eyes. The glory of the sun was overwhelming. But the angels whispered. Far greater mysteries waited, in the realm of the watchers. Their faces were withered, their mouths without song. From the blazing glory of the sun, Enoch was lifted higher. The music of fire faded, and a heavy silence filled the air. He had entered the 5th heaven. There he saw them, beings vast in size, greater than men, yet broken. Their faces were withered, their eyes hollow, their mouths shut in endless silence. They stood like giants, but their power was gone. The angels beside him spoke. These are the Grigori, the watchers. Once, they stood before the throne of God. But they rebelled. They descended to the earth. They saw the daughters of men, and took them as wives. And from their corruption were born giants, terrible men of violence who filled the world with blood. Enoch looked closer. The watchers hung their heads, mourning, their eyes wet with eternal grief. They had defied the Lord of light, and now they waited for judgment. Enoch pitied them. He whispered, "Why do you not sing? Why do you not serve?" But they gave no answer. Only silence. Only sorrow. And then, the stillness shattered. Trumpets roared from above. The heavens shook with mighty voices. And above them, voices of power thundered across the skies. Light greater than the sun, 7 ranks of angels stood. The silence of the watchers broke apart. Trumpets echoed through the heavens, and Enoch was carried upward once more. He entered the 6th heaven. And here, the darkness was gone. The air glowed brighter than the sun itself. Before him stood 7 ranks of radiant beings, angels without blemish, their faces shining like fire. They moved in perfect harmony, as if the entire universe followed their command. Enoch listened, and heard their voices weaving songs that shaped creation itself. Their music was not just sound, it was order. Stars, seasons, rivers, and harvests answered their song. The angels beside him said, "These are the rulers of the earth and sky. They govern the flow of rivers, the ripening of fruit, the cycle of years. They record the deeds of every soul, writing the story of mankind before the throne of God." Enoch trembled. The weight of their power pressed against his spirit. He saw them lift their eyes upward beyond the heavens, toward something greater still. And the angels whispered. But beyond them stood the highest gates, where no mortal had gone. The air burned like molten iron. Enoch was lifted again. The radiance of the 6th heaven faded, and then he entered realms no mortal had ever seen. Armies of angels filled the 7th heaven, hosts beyond number, their faces shining like living fire. Seraphim with 6 wings, cherubim with eyes that never closed, thrones of light that circled without rest. Their voices shook the heavens, crying, "Holy, holy, holy, Lord of hosts." Enoch trembled. The sound pierced his very soul. The angels beside him whispered, "Have courage, for higher still, the Lord waits." He rose through the 8th heaven where the constellations were fixed in their courses. Through the 9th heaven where the homes of the stars blazed like living temples. And finally, into the 10th heaven. There, in a glory beyond words, Enoch saw the throne of God. It burned like iron in the heart of fire, yet brighter than 1,000 suns. The Lord's face was hidden in light so fierce that no tongue could describe it. Around him stood multitudes of angels, bowing, singing, trembling. Enoch fell to the ground. But the Lord spoke. "Rise, Enoch. You shall stand before my face, for eternity." The archangel Michael clothed him in garments of glory. Gabriel placed a pen in his hand. And the Lord commanded, "Write. Record the mysteries of heaven and earth. Tell what you have seen for generations to come." And so Enoch wrote. He became the scribe of eternity, the witness of creation, judgment, and glory. And the question echoes still. Enoch, a mortal man, became the witness of eternity, leaving us with one haunting question: what will we do with his revelation?